What's up, everybody? Welcome to The Revival. My name is JJ, and I've got a theory. What's up, everybody? I'm not going to apologize for taking a break because it was nice. I'm not going to lie, it was pretty awesome. I'm still probably going to be a little more lax on as far as uploading. Like before, when I went 4 years straight of one video every single week. This is my job. I have no intention of trying to go all out and go dive headfirst into YouTube or something. This is just something I do for fun, and I just want to keep it that way. So I'm just going to basically make videos whenever I feel like it. I will do one in the near future on what I've been up to since I took my break and everything, and pickups and all that kind of stuff. But this one I wanted to make just because the news is semi-new still. And I just always love talking about Final Fantasy, so I kind of wanted to just come in here and give some thoughts on the again, semi-latest news. So for those of you that don't know, a while ago there was an NVIDIA leak that had a whole bunch of games that were listed on there as having half of them not even heard of, and the other half just being dreams for people. And so it was kind of like a crapshoot at first. Everybody was just like, this is neat to see these names on here and everything and stuff, but we have no evidence that any of this stuff exists or is real or whatever. So everybody just kind of for the most part, brushed it off and stuff. Slowly, little by little, these games got revealed, and it was shown to be a lot of them were true and everything. I'm still waiting on the Final Fantasy Tactics Remaster announcement, as well as Tactics Ogre, because I would love to have both of those be able to play them on my PS5. But so many of the other stuff has proven to be true, especially after the latest news regarding Kingdom Hearts 4 and showing that was in development. Looks amazing, by the way. Just gorgeous to look at, which is not surprising that all the Kingdom Hearts games are very, very, very cool to look at. So I kind of had the same immediate thought that a lot of other people did, and that is Final Fantasy IX Remake. It's possible. It's more possible than ever now. And I am so stoked if that is true. And one thing that I have not seen anybody mention, I'm sure somebody's thought of this, but in my circle of people that I tend to watch on YouTube and that kind of thing and follow on Twitter, I haven't seen anybody mention this. I think Final Fantasy IX Remake, if real, and I hope so, because it's my second favorite game in the series other than 6, is going to be turn-based, or ATB, like the original. And the reason I say that is because I started to kind of think to myself, Final Fantasy IX wasn't the big shot money maker that Final Fantasy VII was. It after 8, 9 came out, and it wasn't it didn't blow people away sales wise. Over time, it obviously became one of the most beloved games in the series. But the thing is, it was more a throwback for the older fans. And Sakaguchi himself even said, this is what I envisioned when I first created this series. This style, this kind of game is this to me defines Final Fantasy. Quite frankly, when I look at Final Fantasy IX, that is what I think of as being the quote, that's my idea of what Final Fantasy is as well. So that being said, when 7 came out, it blew everybody away, obviously. Numbers, the game was amazing, still amazing, and just changed the face of gaming, literally, because it brought so many people into the genre. and just absolutely just blew everybody away. Looking at it from that perspective and thinking about like how they ended up doing the remake on FF7, I remember I was always one of those people when I heard FF7 was getting remade. I was like, man, please keep it turn-based. I just want the original battle system. I don't want it to make it action combat, and I don't want any of that stuff. Quite frankly, I still feel that way. I would prefer that overall. I'm not saying the new combat is bad. I think they did a phenomenal job with it. I think they did a really, really great job kind of like letting new people experience it and still make it fluid and fun to play as an action game, while not like completely alienating, in my opinion, the older fans who love the original, ATB style gameplay. So I was relieved when I finally played it and gave it a chance, and I was like, oh man, this is great. So when I hear this about 9 and everything like that, and my first thought was like, why would they do 9 as another remake? That's odd. And then it just clicked, like, well, if I was in their shoes, what I would do is, first thing I do is appease the people who came into the series and treat that as like a whole new entire thing like the original game was, and try to blow people away with mind-blowing graphics, incredible gameplay, story, bring new people in who may not have been into the series before, and just completely knock it out of the park. Then you have 9. Throwback to the original. I think they heard the feedback from people saying like, we wanted that turn-based combat, we wanted that original style and everything like that, and they were like, what better game to remake and do that with to appease the old school fans than FF9, the one that did the exact same thing back in the day when it first got a release. That's why I think it's going to be more like the original. And that gets me so excited to think about it. It gets me a little worried because I'm like, I don't want to like hype myself up too much. But if I was in their shoes, that's exactly what I would do. And it didn't like even click that could be a possibility until, the Kingdom Hearts 4 thing came out, and it's like, oh my gosh, like so many of these games have been confirmed on this leak. There's a damn good chance that Final Fantasy IX Remake could be in development. And it would be easier for them to do, because they, if they were trying to do that and appease the older fans, I don't know that they would necessarily have to like split it up into multiple parts like they're doing with 7 and that kind of thing. I think it would be a really good way to just be like, we know you guys love these older games so much, and we are going to give you what you want in the game that originally gave you what you wanted back then as well. I think that would be a genius and just amazing idea, and I really hope that that's the case. Again, I haven't heard anybody else like mention that or come up with that. I'm sure somebody has, but I'm kind of like, I would love to hear what other people think, if you think that's a possibility, if you think that's something that they might consider, if I'm totally off my rocker and they're just going to make it the same way as 7, go episodic and like with action combat and everything like that. I honestly don't know. It's a total crapshoot at this point. We don't even know if it exists. All I'm saying is that our chances definitely improved once Kingdom Hearts 4 got released or announced. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I'm super excited to see whatever comes down the pipeline anyway. I'm still excited to, quite frankly, play Saga Frontier Remastered, and I haven't even touched that yet. Not to mention Chrono Cross, Legend of Mana, and so I love seeing these older games get pushed up, because I know I've been promising a video for a while on like re-releasing older games and playing ROMs and that kind of thing, but anybody who's watched my channel for a while knows that I love seeing love for older games that are being re-released in some fashion that people who are playing games now may not have had the chance to experience back then, and now have a good chance to do so. Because not everybody can get those physical copies, especially for like the more expensive games that came out back then. So I'm really, really excited to see what happens, and I hope I'm right, quite frankly. I really do. I'm sure that there's, I don't know. I honestly don't know what to expect. I'm like, because I will wholeheartedly admit I was one of the original people who was just like, it's just another leak of bullcrap. No, it's not. Just don't even pay attention to it. And now at this point, it's just kind of like, there's so much there that it's hard to ignore and be like, good chance, So, because even the games that hadn't been released yet or announced have now been announced, like the strategy one that's coming out. I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head. I'll put it on the screen. But I like, man, I just hope so. I really, really hope that what I'm thinking and what I'm guessing and theorizing is the case, because that would make my dreams come true, and I'd be so happy with that, because 9 holds such a wonderful place in my heart. It's one of the only video games I ever played where I got to the very end, finished it, and immediately wanted to start over. Normally when I finish a game, I'm like, all right, some of them I will come back to later on, but not right away, not right then and there. I am just like, I need a break from this. Maybe I'll go play like something that's not a JRPG, that kind of thing. But in this case, with 9, I was immediately ready to go back and play it again. I love the game so much. I love the character, story, all that stuff. So guys, let me know what you think. It's good to be back in front of the camera again. I feel like I'm a little rusty for sure. But I just wanted to kind of throw my thoughts out there, since this news is still, past few weeks just came out about Kingdom Hearts 4. So definitely looking forward to hearing what people think. And let me know. Reach out to me on Twitter. Put your comments down below, all that stuff. Like, share the video, all that stuff. The drill, it's YouTube. Same as always, it's good to be back. And as always, keep on gaming.